It's your boy Jay Best, your boy Riley, your boy Jarek, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 3, episode 45. On today's episode, I will be announcing the winner of the CJ Stroud jersey giveaway and the Shohei Ohtani jersey giveaway. I was exclusively on TikTok. Then following that, we're gonna talk about some NFL rule changes. Then we'll go over to the NBA and talk about Taylor Jenkins being fired from the Memphis Grizzlies. And then we're gonna end this episode with our final four preview. All right, before we get into any of that, as always, we want to thank God for waking us up this morning, allowing us to talk about sports, which is something that we love to do. And without him, we would not be here right now. Fellas, y'all ready to go?
Let's do
Yes,
it.
sir.
All right, let's get it. First things first. CJ Stroud jersey giveaway winner. All right, we spent the wheel. All right, and your winner is River. All right, so congratulations, River, for winning the CJ Stroud jersey. All right, went to go comment on season 3, episode 41, and end up winning the jersey. All right, and the fellas witnessed it. You see it on the screen, so it ain't no cheating, nothing like that. All right. And then exclusively on TikTok. This is why y'all should make sure y'all follow my TikTok, follow Instagram, Facebook. Because I'm doing random giveaways. All right. This giveaway was only on TikTok and it was a Shohei Ohtani jersey. All right. And a couple people commented and entered the drawing. And your winner is B, aka I Show Beck. All right. That's who won the Shohei Ohtani jersey. Congratulations. I'll make sure I reach out to you and I will get that to you. Once again, we spent the wheel and that's the name that it landed on. All right. But like I said, follow TikTok, follow Instagram, follow Facebook, stay in tune, and you will get information about jersey giveaways in the future. Instagram, I'm doing a jersey giveaway next for Instagram users only. And then we also have a special one for us. It's the month of the draft, so we got a special jersey coming out that we're going to do as well. All right. So let's move on to our first subject of the day, which NFL rule changes. All right. So it's been a couple of NFL rules that have been proposed to change, right? Some that's been pushed back till May, where they'll figure out like the tush push, for example. We're gonna start off with that. So fellas, let's put our owners caps on, all right. And the proposal is to get rid of the tush push. All right. So if you was an owner, would you vote yes or no? Jared, you up first.
Um, it's unfair, honestly. I would definitely propose no. I would not get rid of the tush push because you can't ban a team for something that they're great at, something that you can't do. Other teams can do this. Other teams have tried to do this, but they're not successful like the Eagles are, just because they don't have the offensive line that the Eagles do. They don't have the quarterback that the Eagles do. They don't have that power, that strength that can really get the job done like the Eagles do. Now, the only way that I could see a team being against this is if it's a health or injury concern, just because of the way that the linemen are leading with their head and making contact with the defense. I could see that being a problem, but outside of that, I know there's no reason to ban something that they're good at just because y'all aren't, and just because you feel like it's an unfair advantage. But it's just they perfected it, so you gotta come up with a way to stop it.
All right, real.
Yes, sir. I 100% agree with what Jerry said, but I'm leaning towards ban the tush push. We've seen the tush push be basically unstoppable the past 3 years, and it's just basically unfair. Um, we saw in the NFC Championship game, we literally saw the Washington Commanders jump off sides 4 times, basically leading to a touchdown because they couldn't stop the tush push. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how dominant that play is. So the only other way to stop that play and to stop the Eagles from running it is to ban the tush push. I feel like every single play the Eagles are thinking about it is they have 4 downs. No team in the NFL history has ever thought about that. I just say we just go ahead and ban that. Let's play regular football instead of rugby.
I got you. For me, I think that we should not ban it, and this is the reason why. Everybody in the league can run it. Like you have the option to run this play. The fact of the matter is nobody can run it as effective as the Eagles can. Right. So like this is something that to me, like Jarek said, just because other teams can't run it to the perfection that the Eagles run it to, they want to try and get rid of it because it's a play that's working for them. When at the end of the day, everybody can run this play. To point out what Jerry said about the injury concerns, they actually came out and said from I got it from a source that there has been no injuries detected from a tush push play. There has been none. So that whole notion about the safety of players is not true because there's been no injuries. right? And the thing that really made me mad is that Sean McDermott came out, right, and they ran this play more than the Eagles did this year. They did. It just wasn't as effective, right? You saw them in the Chiefs game try to run it a bunch. It wasn't working, right? But they ran it more this year than the Eagles. He came out and said, I feel I'm most concerned about basically the injuries and the safeties of safety of the players. But there is no injuries detected, first of all, and second of all, you run it more than the Eagles. So why are you worried about safety if you run it so much? But it just does not work for you. So I feel like this is not fair to take away a play from a team that's running a play that anybody can run. Right? This don't make sense to me. So I think we should not ban the touch push. All right. The next rule is the overtime rule that did get passed. Regular season overtime rules will match the playoff rules. All right, both teams will have a chance to get possession, even if the offense scores a touchdown in the opening drive. Jared, do you agree with this? Would you have voted yes or no for this?
I would have voted no. I don't. I think we have to differentiate the regular season and the postseason in any way, form, or fashion that we can. And I feel like it adds a little bit excitement to a regular season game. As some fans might feel like regular season games sometimes get boring or whatever, but this adds excitement. As in, this team gets the ball, you have to get a stop and you have to go score because you know that if you don't go score, the other team can go kick a field goal and then the game will be over. And if you do score, that the defense has to get a stop because if they do score, then it's over. So I think that it's cool to have the rule change in the playoffs. I 100% agree with that, and I like that they changed the rule in the playoffs because we saw so many games end tragically due to the fact that they didn't have a chance. For example, Josh Allen didn't have a chance in the playoffs against Mahomes. And that was really what made them want to change the rules. So for the regular season, though, I don't think so. I think you should just stick with the classic rules. Nothing's wrong with it. No big problem. And just, leave it be.
All right, real.
Yes, sir. I 100% agree with Jarek. This is how the NFL has always been. It's always been first team that scores wins when it comes to overtime, especially in the regular season now. And I feel like, just like Jerry said, we had to change something between the playoffs and the regular season. I feel like in the regular season, that's going to be making the game a little bit more longer, and it just takes away from the fact that, as Jerry said, we have to get a stop. Like we have to get a stop. We could go out there and you could flip the coin, whatever the coin flips on, it matters because you have to go get a stop. So I definitely think they shouldn't change that rule, and I think this will definitely make a lot of games this year a lot more longer.
Yep, I'm on the same page with both of y'all. I don't think this should have been passed because I think we have to differentiate the playoffs and the regular season, right? In the playoffs, there's more at stake, right? You're trying to get to a Super Bowl. So I feel like to add that rule, it makes sense because we don't want to continue to ask the question, okay, what if Josh Allen would have won that coin toss and not Mahomes? Or what if Lamar won that coin toss and not Joe Burrow? Right, to eliminate that uncertainty, they went ahead and they said, okay, we're going to give you a chance to also get the ball. But in the regular season, with not as much at stake, I feel like it should still be, hey, you gotta stop them from scoring. Because at the end of the day, that makes defenses you gotta go out there and want it more, right? To get that stop. Because now if you go ahead and say, all right, from for the regular season and the playoffs, um, it's gonna be one team score, next team get the ball, and then the defense kind of you don't really you want to get the stop, but if you don't, it's cool. Like you get a pat on the back, it's cool. We offense can go out there and try to go score. Versus putting that emphasis on defense, we need this stop. So I think that it also adds excitement because it's sudden death, right? You give up a touchdown, it's over with, right? But if you give up a field goal or nothing, then your team has a chance to go score. So I like the overtime rules for the regular season, and I think the overtime rules for the playoffs was necessary just to eliminate the uncertainty with games. For example, Josh Allen versus Mahomes a couple of years ago. All right. The next rule that was actually proposed, and I believe this got passed as well, is replay assist. All right. Owners will approve a proposal from the NFL Competition Committee to allow replay assist to consult on-field officials to overrule objective calls such as face mask penalties, etc. Jared, would you vote for this or would you vote against this?
I'd vote for this. This is one that I would agree on. Just for the fact that it's as long as it doesn't slow down the game. Like Terrell said, with the overtime rule, if they add the adding the that both teams get a chance, like he said, it's gonna make games longer. So I know that with the like reviewing a lot of stuff, it can make games longer. But as long as it's like the replay assist coming from New York and where it'll just go straight to the referee's headset, and then the referee will change the call on the field, and it's not the referees coming together and talking and having a long pause, then I do agree with it because there are certain calls that affect the game tremendously, and they should be able to be overturned. They should be able to be reviewed, and just some of the times that replay assist was used last year, I feel like it was very beneficial. I feel like it was good. I feel like it should have been used a little bit more in the postseason and towards the end of the season. I saw they kind of um, cut back a little bit on how much it was used. 'Cause there's some calls or some things that we saw that replay assist could have helped on. So I like this one though. It's definitely going to improve the game.
All right, real.
Yes, sir. I agree. I really really like this one. How many times can you guys count that we've heard somebody say, "Dog, what type of call was that? Man, that's not wasn't a face mask. That wasn't a roughing the passer." Like, how many games have we seen be lost because of one flag or one 15-yard penalty? Like, I feel like this should have been changed 10 years ago because that's how many games were lost in the process because of this rule. Now, whenever things happen, it's going to be automatic. Hey, just go back to the replay center and check that out for me, please, because some of these calls are like too big for a ref to miss. These are like way too big for a ref to miss. Some teams missed out on Super Bowls because of this, and I just feel like, as Derek said, as long as it doesn't slow down the game, as long as it's a quick, hey, it wasn't a face mask, it is a face mask, or it was roughing the passer, it wasn't. I think this is a great rule change. Me personally, I think this is probably the best rule change.
Hey, somebody sound a little salty. Sound like
Yeah,
you think
I
about
was just gonna say I know he let his rule change. He having flashbacks as he's speaking
thinking
about it.
about, thinking about the Rams and the Saints, huh? Hey, but look, so the only thing about this is replay assist could wipe out a foul only if it's incorrectly called, but it would not be used to throw a flag if a penalty wasn't called. So in your case, that Rams Saints thing, they didn't throw the penalty. Replay assist can't say you got to throw it, right? But if they did throw it and it wasn't a PI, then replay assist can say it's not a PI, right? And I think that this is necessary. It's been so many times where I watched the game, and I think we all know who Gene's territory is, right? He's the head dude in charge when it comes to replay assist. He's a former referee, and he's basically the head of the committee. And it's been so many times when a ref make a bad call, and he comes out and say that's a bad call. I wouldn't have called that, or that should not have been that flag. Then tell them. I've been saying this for years now. Tell them like it makes no sense that the head guy is saying that that's not a flag, but y'all won't let the rule let the call stand. Like that don't make sense to me. So I'm so glad that this is integrated. I would have voted for this for sure. Like Real said, it should have been around because at the end of the day, I understand we don't want games to take too long, but I want to make the right calls because calls can cost a team a game. We know this. We've seen this so many times, right? So I think that this is necessary, especially in a league where the referees are wrong more times than they're right. Like I think referees have the worst job performance in the world out of all the jobs. Like their job performance is so bad because I've seen so many times where they've ruined games or they gave teams flags that shouldn't have. It happens too many times. All right, them zebras get on my nerves. All right, we got two more playoff seeding.
But
So
Jabez,
go ahead.
but I also wanted to say something about Gene Stellator. As you said, why can he not make the call down there to the field and tell the refs, hey, that's a bad call, that's not the right call? Especially when the refs are calling up to the headquarters, they're calling up to New York to say, they're calling up to his office to ask him what's the call. So I never really understood that. I didn't understand that at all. And on top of that, like you said, it wouldn't change the outcome of the Saints game, but it would change the outcome of a lot of Chiefs games and a lot of Buccaneers games back in the day and a
Yeah,
lot of Patriots games.
yeah, facts. Jerry, why you smiling? That's facts. No lie, that's facts.
Hey, next rule, next rule.
All right, playoff seeding. Okay, this is Dan Campbell. I don't know what he's thinking, but Dan Campbell is proposing that playoff seeding be based on winning percentage. So basically, he's trying to get rid of the division winners automatically get a home game in the playoffs. All right, Jared, would you before this? And this is once again they pushed this back for May. So their next meeting in May is when they're going to vote on this. Jared, would you vote for this? Yes or no?
Not this particular rule, no. Just because like that throws away the meaning to divisions. Like now the division doesn't matter. Now it's kind of like an NBA thing where it's just the conference going against the conference to see who can have the best record and the top records get in the playoffs. Like me personally, I do agree with what he's saying though, that we can't award teams with a home playoff game for going 9-8 and winning your division. That was bad. We just can't. We have to stop that. So, like me personally, if I was him, you win your division, you still get in. But then the seeding does become based off of winning percentage at that point. And I hope that's kind of what they're going to be voting on, not just the overall winning percentage, because then that's unfair and that makes like division rivalries. That takes that out of the equation. Like a Steelers and Ravens game won't be as important now. Like we still don't like each other, but it won't be as important because there won't be division implications on the line, which are eventually playoff implications for all the divisions and all the for all the divisions that are real close, real tight, competitive divisions. But I do agree that something does have to change when it comes to 9-8 or 8-9 team having a home playoff game against a team that went 13-4. Like something does have to change with that. They just have to go about it the right way.
Real.
Yes, sir. So I'm 100% against this rule. I feel like this was the dumbest rule he could have proposed, and I feel like only one owner will vote on this. It will be one out of 32 owners that vote on this because I've been a fan of a team that's been at the top of the whole conference, and I've been a part of the team that's been at the bottom part of the conference. So I know that, like Jerry just said, this takes away from division rivalries and all that. I feel like it's always been a certain way. The NFL has always looked this way, where it's division leaders hosting the playoff game, hosting a home game. It's always been like that, and I feel like it should stay like that. I know, like Derek said, teams are getting rewarded for having mid records, but they're winning their division. They're winning the games that matter. Like you said, the Ravens and Steelers rivalry, that's a big rivalry. If you take away the division records and division standings and all that, that might not be as big a rivalry again. The Bears and the Packers have a huge rivalry. The 49ers and the Seahawks have a huge rivalry. It's teams all over the league that have huge rivalries. I just felt like this was just a terrible rule change. This I I I wasn't too big on the 7 playoff seating thing, but I'm cool with it now. I'm definitely not cool with this though. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and like you said, it. I don't think it will take away rivalries, but it will take away the meaning of the games, right? Because those games mean a lot when it comes to playoff seeding, when it comes to who gonna get that home game. I think that, and also over the past couple of years, we've seen some division matchups happen at the end of the season that determine who win the division, right? And that's exciting, right? It's almost like a playoff game before the playoffs start because you want that home field advantage. You want at least one home game. But it's kind of like two sides to this though. Like I don't agree with it, but I feel like the opposition would say, well, now every game matters more if we say it's strictly just winning percentage. Because not every game really matters. Like if you're in the NFC South, right? These division games matter, but not every game really matters. So we can win our division and we can still miss the playoffs. So it will for some reason improve the competition, I think, because every game now is a must win because we don't have that guarantee of, okay, the Texans, for example, they can go what 9-8, 10-7, and basically be guaranteed a playoff spot because they're in a division with Jacksonville, with Tennessee, with the Colts, right? Same thing with the NFC South for the past couple of years. We've been talking about how their record is not better than the three wild card teams plus the team that didn't make it, but they made it because they won a division. Right. So I think that they have an argument that it could make things more competitive. But I think it should stay the way it's been because those rivalry games matter, those division games matter. It's high intensity. Those games are like playoff games for the regular season. So I do agree that we should keep this. And I don't know why Detroit is proposing this. I don't get it. But I would definitely vote against that. All right. And then last but not least, this is a huge one to me. All right. Automatic first downs. The proposal to stop automatic first downs from being awarded on defensive holding and illegal contact penalties did not pass. It didn't pass. So, Jared, would you have voted yes or no for this?
I would have voted no. Why are we trying to take this away? I feel like if you think about it, if my wide receiver is running a go route and you hold him, now he can't get to the football, and now we're not awarded a first down when we could have had a touchdown. Like these are like holding illegal contact is cause that now illegal contact maybe just because we see a lot of illegal contact calls that don't affect the play. But holdings, they definitely will affect the play. And we can't take away automatic first down because now every single DB, Sauce Gardner does it a lot already. Every single DB, they're going to be tugging at that jersey. They're going to be trying to hold on to a wide receiver because we see that it's not going to give you automatic first down. That's something that in college we see a lot. If y'all watch college football, you will see a lot of holding calls on DBs because when DB gets beat, it's not a spot of the ball foul. It's not all the way up there. No, it is a 10-yard penalty maybe, and then you keep playing. So I think that these are calls that should be automatic first downs because now we're trying to. Yes, the defense is already at a disadvantage, but this is too much of a this is too big of a thing to try and so-called balance out the scales and make it more fair for the defense. This is like something that I can't get behind. So no, I wouldn't have voted to pass this rule change.
All right, real.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that this was definitely a rule that should have been passed because, like I said about the last couple of topics, I've seen games be lost because of this too. I've seen teams lose on a 3rd and 15, and it'd be a legal contact. You're holding, and it'd be an automatic 15. I mean, an automatic first down, and the team go score. I already wasn't a big fan of a spot foul for a pass interference call. I'm really not a big fan of that. I feel like it should be a 15-yard penalty. But if we're gonna keep that way, at least take away the first down for illegal contact and holding. I feel like we're just messing the game up. We're 100% messing the game up. And another thing is, whenever it comes to the speed of the game, is just slowing down. Whenever like keeping this rule in.
Yeah. For me, I am on both of y'all sides, but I feel like this should be reworded. Kind of how Jerry talked about the playoff seeding one. Take away the spot fouls. Either take them away or take them away for the last 2 minutes of the game. Because there is nothing worse than if you up by 3 or if you winning by however much, and then the opposing team throws the ball deep, like a 50-yard pass, 40-yard pass, and there's a flag and they get the ball right there. And you got the lead with like under 2 minutes left. That to me, that is just because now teams have that mindset of okay, let's just take a chance, and we might get the flag, and we might get the ball way up there. Like that to me, that is not fair. We have to either take it out all the way, and just give them 10 yards. I give you 10 yards and the first down. 10 yards automatic first down, right? Or only take it away during the last 2 minutes because that's where it matters the most. Like a spot foul in the first quarter, okay, cool. But a spot foul with 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter, that to me is just not fair for the defense or for the opposing team. And I understand we teaching our corners don't hold or don't commit PI. But this goes back to the referees. These PI, these holding calls are judgment calls for the most part. Right? I hear a bunch of people say it was a holding, it wasn't PI. I hear a bunch of people say it wasn't a holding or it wasn't a PI. These referees all over the place whenever they make these calls. So a bad call can put a team who starts on the 35 on the 30 and put them on the opposite 40 because of such a big pass that became a pass interference. So I do not think that this should happen. But this rule is saying that just to stop automatic first downs, I would just say keep the automatic first downs, but get rid of the spot fouls. That's what I
So okay, let's say you do get rid of spot fouls for the last 2 minutes of the game. Your team's up. No, your team's down by 3, and you're driving down the field, right?
Yep.
Third down, maybe even fourth down, and your receiver in perfect position ran a great route, beats the defense, balls in the air, and now as a DB, now in the back of my mind, oh, it's not a spot foul, so we're not in any danger. So I'm gonna go and commit a foul and now you end up losing the game because of that penalty. That should have been a spot foul, should have put you in at least field goal range, but now you're still back on your own 40-yard line trying to work your way across the field with limited time left. How would you feel about that? It
I
goes both ways.
This is why I said I agree with both of y'all. Because for that exact reason right there. Because you pointed out that this is gonna change the mindset of defense. If I get beat, just grab, tackle, right? And this is also where the NFL can say, okay, if it is clearly intentional, because we know what intentional is. We at home watching games all the time. We know what an intentional foul and what a or like in basketball, for example, we know the difference between an intentional foul and somebody going for the ball just playing defense, right? In the NFL, if I see you just blatantly grab the dude and stop him from going to get it, then you can make the spot foul. But if it's not intentional, if it's incidental, if it's a judgment call, I cannot call a spot foul. Like this is a touchy subject. This is hard because, like you said, defense is just gonna say, "All right, don't get beat deep, grab him, trip him, do something. Do not get beat deep. Just give him the 10 yards." Right. But on the flip side, I just can't get down with the fact that if I commit a foul, incident, I'm going for the ball. I'm playing good defense. A judgment call. They call holding. They call PI, and now you get the ball way up here. I
But
just
is this not where replay assist can come in hand? Isn't that what we were talking about
call if
earlier?
it's called. If it
If
is
it's
called,
called,
yeah.
if PI is called on you at the end of the game, Gene can make that phone call and tell them, "Hey, that's not a call, and it's gonna be reversed." So they put a rule in place to assist with what your problem is right now with end of the game late calls where the call is made and now it's shifting the whole course of the game when it shouldn't have been called, and they're gonna reverse that. But I feel like you're putting too much you're putting it too much like it's too much. How do I see it as a referee? It's too much
Perception.
instead of by the book. By the book, you know the definition of a holding, you know the definition of legal contact. But now we're gonna be making even more judgment calls on was that intentional or not. And DBs are gonna learn how to make it look like you're trying to make a play and it's not intentional.
Yeah, me personally, I just want to keep. I want to keep referees out of the game as much as possible at the end. Right? I do not, and I believe in this. People say the same flag in the first quarter is the same flag in the fourth quarter. But if this is deciding the game, I feel like this can't be called. Like I don't like it. I talk about this all the time. The Eagles Super Bowl with the Chiefs. You call that flag, the game is over. It's done. And it was because Jay Hurst got the ball with like 20 something seconds left because they drained the clock because they got that first down of their holding. That to me, bro, I cannot let a flag dictate the outcome of a game. Real, how you feel about that? How you feel about flags dictating outcomes?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I feel like refs should be the least involved in the game as possible at the end of the game. Like they shouldn't have too much to do with deciding the game, but they have everything to do with deciding the game. You know what I'm saying? Um, I really, really liked your rule change though. Your proposal. You said, well, let's decide what's intentional and what's not intentional. I feel like that's a great way to dictate who gets 15 yards and what's a spot foul. That's a great way. And but like you said, I feel like we should just definitely just take away the refs' judgment calls as much as we can from the game, and maybe use Dean Stellator in New York as much as we can.
Yeah, I like I said, I think we all agree, Jerry. I agree with you. But at the end of the day, like I told Real, I don't want referees to be involved at the end, and then like you said, it's gonna make it too much judgment and too technical, and now it's gonna be because now I got to see if it's intentional, and then if it, you know what I'm saying, like it's a lot that I'm adding to their plate, but at the end of the day, you gotta get the call right, and do not call a foul or a flag that's gonna just end the game. Like if it's imagine 4th and 15 in the playoffs, right? Jared, your favorite team still is on defense. All right, Lamar Jackson on off. It's 4th and 15. We get to stop the game. It's over. We up by 3. Right? They not in field goal range. Lamar throw a go route to Zay Flowers. And then because we got Darius Slay now, Darius Slay get called for a PI, and they get the ball in field goal range. Or actually, we're about 1 point. They get the ball in field goal range. How that hurts? Like
Yes, and
that flag is clear to
I
sign.
expect Gene to tell them that is not a call because that rule change was passed. I expect Gene to make that phone call and say, "Hey, no, that's not a call. Still, the ball game over." That's what I expect.
Yes. Okay. So you're right. That's my fault. You did say that because they said that upstairs can overturn calls, right? A call
Yes,
that was made. My thing is the spot foul. That's where that bothers me right there. Because if you give them 10 yards in the first down, okay, let's play 4 more downs defense and get them off the field. But you give them a spot foul, now they in field goal range, and we up
First
two,
and
we
10.
up one, right? And then it's over. So that's what this is very this is touching in general.
I agree.
All right, y'all. So we're heading over to the NBA, and just last week, all right, this was after our last episode, I believe. The Memphis Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins. All right, they fired their head coach. I'm not gonna say too much. I'm wait till it's my turn. Jared, your reaction to this?
It. I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't. At least, why now? That's my question more so. Why now? Why not after the season? Because if you look at what they actually said, the reason why they fired him is because they just don't think that he's the guy that's going to eventually help them get the job done. That's fine. If that's how you believe, that's fine. But that's when I also have two problems with that. Like I said, why now? Especially when he has you as you're a high seed in the West, the competitive West. Yes, they've had a bad March, and that's okay. Because me personally, I think it's your team. I don't think it's your coach.
Mm,
I think it's your team. I honestly
mm.
do. Just for the sole fact that, like, first of all, the man's best player. When's the last time John Morant's played 80% of the games in a season? Like his so-called best player is always finding a reason to be off the court. Whether he's suspended for stupidity, whether he's hurt, it's hard for me to win games when my best player is off the court. Now he comes back. Now we got to get back in a rhythm, get back in rotation. Players that were making plays and stepping up when he was out have to go back to decreasing their role. That's just very hard. Like I said before, we brought up the topic of the Memphis Grizzlies before. Jaren Jackson Jr. at times is their best player. You're not going to win anything when Jaren Jackson Jr. is your best player. I'm sorry, you're just not. Desmond Bain, he's a good player. He's nice, but they don't have the pieces to be concerned about winning anything right now, especially in the West. They don't. You're not better than Oklahoma. You're not close to Oklahoma. You're not better than Houston right now, in my opinion. Denver's going to smoke you. The Lakers, if y'all play them right now, it's a sweep. That is going to be another sweep by LeBron James and the Memphis Grizzlies. You're not better than Golden State. Minnesota, they're killing you. You're not going to be able to beat Minnesota. And the way that the Clippers are playing right now, in my opinion, because I told y'all, I see something in the Clippers right now. The Clippers would beat you in a 7-game series right now. You're not ready. And the fact that you're firing a coach for saying he's not going to get the job done, first of all, we got to build the roster to get the job done first. Then we worry about who's making calls and who's coaching the team. You have to have the roster first. They don't have the roster to be winning a championship. So why are we even talking about the reason why we fired him was because we don't see him getting the job done and taking us to where we need to be eventually. So and especially like I said, to fire him mid-season when he got you to where y'all were at this point, ridiculous to me. Because when they fired him, I know they're the 5th seed now. I don't know exactly where they were when he got fired, but just the sole fact that you fired this man so close to the playoffs when he did such a great job this whole entire season getting you to where you are is ridiculous to me. Honestly, this is like the amount of stupidity in this is up there with what Dallas's GM did. Like that amount of stupidity is kind of up there. You fired the man mid-season for no reason, for reasons which I feel like what you're saying is applies to the future just because, like I said, your team's not ready. So why not down the line when your team is ready, determine if he's the guy or not? So this is a stupid move by Memphis, honestly, and Memphis ain't gonna do nothing anyways. No matter who's back there coaching, no matter who has a clipboard. Phil Jackson could have the clipboard in his hand right now. They're not winning anything. It don't matter. Phil Jackson could have the clipboard. Pat Riley could be your assistant coach. It don't matter. You're not winning anytime soon, so stop.
All right, real.
Yeah, dude, dang, you went in on them. And I agree with everything you said, but I just wouldn't have went in on them like that. But I'm just gonna say an important fact about Taylor Jenkins right quick. Since becoming the Memphis Grizzlies head coach, he has the most wins ever by a Grizzlies head coach. He's top 10 in wins since becoming the head coach, and he's top 3 in total defense since becoming the head coach. So the Grizzlies have been a really good team. I know you guys remember the Grizzlies being pretty bad last year. John Morant, Jaren Jackson, and Desmond Bain were all hurt. They were top 3 guys, all hurt last year. The year before that, they were the second seed in the West. The second seed in the really, really good West. And then they lost to LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? You can't get mad at that. The next year, John Morant, he gets suspended. He gets hurt. Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bain, they're hurt. They don't have a great year. The next year, this year, they were in the second seed the majority of the year. If I could name any team that was in the second seed the most out of the Grizzlies, Nuggets, and the Rockets, it was definitely the Grizzlies. 100% the Grizzlies. On top of that, the Grizzlies fired him the game right after the Thunder. I don't know what the GM was thinking, but the Thunder smoke everybody. The Thunder have swept everybody. You got mad at the Thunder beating the Grizzlies by 4 points. Like, we barely beat the Grizzlies, and you fired your head coach 10 games before the playoffs started. Whenever they fired him, they were in the third seed. I just want to let you know they dropped 2 games since then. What are the Grizzlies doing? This was a terrible move. This was a terrible move, bro. Taylor Jenkins is gonna go to a team next year. He's gonna turn that team all the way up. If you go look at the Grizzlies, this is a really, really good team. Jarek said that this team isn't that good. I think this team's really good. This team's really, really deep. This team's really experienced, and it's all because of Taylor Jenkins. This team's really well coached. I think John Morant he hasn't played half of the season this year. Half of their games this year, he hasn't been there. And they were in the third seed before they fired him. If he played all season, I think they're right behind Oklahoma. I think they're right there with Oklahoma. I'm a Thunder fan, so I can sit here and say Jaren Jackson didn't play one of those games against the Thunder this year. John Morant didn't play 2 of them. So if the owner looked at that and said, "Hey, we got swept against Oklahoma, we don't have a chance with this coach," that was a terrible move. Memphis Grizzlies owner, go ahead, sell that team. The GM, step down, give that position away. Terrible move. Absolute terrible move. You shouldn't have a job in the NBA.
Yeah. Both of y'all hit the nail right in the head. I'm just gonna make it a little worse. All right. So I'm sitting chilling, and I get the alert that Taylor Jenkins fired, and two things crossed my mind, and two things should have crossed everybody's mind. First of all, it's this was last month. Yes, it's March. Like it's March. We about to get into the playoffs. Like why would you make this move in March? Like this is an off season move, or this is a remember when the Kings fired what's my boy name Mike Brown this year earlier in the season. They fired him earlier in the season because it makes sense, right? If you're gonna fire somebody, fire him early, right? Or fire him in the off season. I'm like it's March. First of all, second of all, I went to the standings and Memphis is like the fifth seed. So two of the things just didn't make sense: the timing and the reason. Because his team is in the playoffs right now, right? Normally, when coaches get fired, you can look at their record and say it makes sense. Like some coaches, we don't necessarily agree with the decision making in terms of firing them or not. But when we look at the record, it makes sense. For example, the Raiders in the NFL, Antonio Pierce. All three of us do not believe that he should have been fired, right? Because we're smart and we know his team ain't that good, so he's going to have a bad record. But the average Joe, somebody who don't watch football like that, guess what? They see that Antonio Pierce got fired. They look it up. Oh, what was the Raiders' record? Oh, it makes sense. They was below 500 by a lot, right? It makes sense. Look at the draft. They got a top 10 pick. It makes sense, right? With this one, it don't make sense. So they're in the playoffs right now. Like that is just stupid. And then I really want to sit down and talk to the GM. And I'm not gonna yell at him, not gonna scream at him, right? Not good enough. I'm just gonna ask him a simple question. So you fired Taylor Jenkins as if your interim head coach give y'all a better chance to win. So I'm gonna ask him. So because you're saying that Taylor Jenkins, you don't think he's the guy for the job, right? You're telling me your interim coach is, or you're just throwing the season away. It's either A or B, and both of them is bad. Both of them is really bad. If you tell me that your assistant coach will come in here and make a big change with 10 games left, that's stupidity. And if you tell me that um we're throwing away the season, then that's also stupidity because you're in the playoffs. We all know this is basketball. That ball can bounce any kind of way in the playoffs. Y'all can get hot. Desmond Bain get hot. Jaren Jackson Jr. start playing like the all-star he is. Right? You never know what can happen. So it just don't all around. It just do not make sense. And I was really shocked whenever I heard this. Honestly. But yeah, Memphis,
Yeah.
y'all got some explaining to do. 100%. Y'all got some explaining to do because not only that, but your intern. So, for example, the Kings, right? They interim head coach got some games under his wing, right? He got some experience. He know how to coach a little bit because he been coaching his team since what? I think they fired him like November ish,
Uh,
somewhere around there. They fired Mike
December,
Brown,
yeah,
something like that.
somewhere around there. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So he coached. He got some experience being the head coach. It's a difference being an assistant coach and the head coach. It's a big difference. Trust me, I know this from experience. I don't even coach in the NBA, where I've coached in AAU, and I know it's the difference between being the second guy, the second voice, and the main voice, right? So that guy got experience. Now you about to put this new dude under the fire with 10 games left. He only gets 10 games ready for the playoffs. You know the playoffs is different kind of is a different kind of basketball. So you just setting this dude up to be a failure in the playoffs. Like you just don't. None of this makes sense at all. And like you said, the Memphis GM got some explaining to do because I still don't know. Like you say that he's not the guy for the job. It don't make sense. Rail just told y'all he's one of the most winningest head coaches of all time in Memphis. He only been there what? Not even what 3-4 years,
Four
something like that.
seasons. I'm gonna say 3, 4 seasons.
Exactly. That just don't make sense. Anything else y'all want to add on? Or we done? We done dragging the Memphis Grizzlies.
The last thing I want to add on to that, the last thing I want to add on to that is, like you said, this this intern coach doesn't have any games under his belt. He's the second voice in the locker room, so they're not really listening too hard to him. And like I said, the Grizzlies are 0-2 since they fired their head coach. And on top of that, this was a real report that came straight from the GM. This was a decision that came straight from him and the ownership. He did not consult any of the players or any of the staff about this. This was a decision that strictly him and the ownership made. So the players weren't in on this at all. So I'm sure that they're heartbroken and they're pissed off that they lost their coach with 10 games left in the playoffs. That I think that they could have actually made a run at because they were this good in the West and half of their players weren't playing this year. So that's all I got to say.
Now I want to apologize real quick to John Morant because I have been real critical of his character, right? And I thought when I heard this news, because once again, it's March and y'all are fifth seed in the West, I thought it was him. I thought he complained. And you know when superstars complain about their head coach or they want their head coach gone, you gonna make their wishes come true because you want to keep that superstar. So I thought John Morant had something to do with this, but come to find out he didn't. So that's my bad, John. That's on me. That's on me. I apologize for that. All right, Jared looked miserable over there. It's not even Jared's team, and he looked miserable.
It's ridiculous.
All right, y'all. In this episode, we're gonna do a Final Four preview. All right, we got Duke and U of H, and then we got Auburn and Florida. All right, Jared, you up first. Who you got winning both matchups?
So the Duke U of H game, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't think U of H has a chance. I'm gonna be quite honest. I don't think U of H has a chance. Duke, look, this Duke team, they're gonna go down as one of the greatest teams to grace a college basketball court. Like you look at their whole starting five. Their whole starting five is going to be in the league, and they're going to make an impact on whatever team they land on in the league. Like first of all, we know how good Cooper Flag is, but it's also the people around Cooper Flag. Like that's the thing. He is great shooter, but he also you think he's just a shooter? No, he can attack as well because they're all big. They are all big guards. Like that is a problem. I saw him straight line drive to the basket with a defender on him. And he just nudged him out the way and went up. And you wouldn't expect this because you expect him to just be a catch and shoot guy, but he's not. Tyrese Proctor, he's had a great March Madness so far, trying to improve his draft stock. So I think that the star power is too much, and they are too big of a team. This is the tallest team in college basketball. So I do think that this will be a problem for Houston, for U of H, with a smaller guard like LJ Cryer, who really is one of the main pieces that gets your team going. I think he's going to have a problem similar to what Mark Sears did. That man went from having a field day against BYU, shooting the skin off the basketball, to playing terribly against Duke, and the score reflected that. So I do have Duke beating U of H, and then going over to the other side. I'm sticking with my pick before this all started. I got Florida. I think that Florida is going to beat Auburn. Walter Clayton Jr. This is a name you need to remember. This is one of them. This is one of them ones when it comes to March Madness. We're going to be talking about this guy for a long time down the line for what he did in March Madness. He's averaging 22 points per game in March Madness, shooting 45% from the field and also shooting 45% from the three-point line. Like that's good. That is really great. And it's not even – he might not make as big of a – like in the Maryland game, he didn't make that big of a presence in the beginning. But in the end, Florida has been – every single game Florida has played besides their first-round game have been close games. Maryland, I know they kind of ran away with that one. But, like, Texas Tech is a very close game. UConn was a very close game. And he stepped up when he needed to. So in any close game right now, the player in March Madness that I'm picking that I want on my team in a close game right now is Walter Clayton Jr. And that doesn't take away from the fact that he has great teammates beside him as well. They have shooters. They can play defense. They are holding teams to under 80. No team has scored 80 points on them yet. And this has been a very high-scoring March Madness. We've seen teams get into the hundreds. We've seen teams' final scores be 92 to 86. Like, this is a high-scoring March Madness, and they're playing great defense. So I think that with the capabilities of Walter Clayton Jr. and the defense that they can play, I have Florida beating Auburn, which is unfortunate because I do like Auburn. So I do have a Duke versus Florida matchup in the national championship.
All right, real.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I saw Walter Clayton play last week against Texas Tech. That boy's a killer for real, for real. But I'm gonna go to the Duke and Houston game. I'm gonna go Houston all day. I'm gonna go with the home team. The reason why though is so much hype was going around this Duke team. Everybody's gonna pick them to win this game. And I feel like this game is going to be a bracket smasher, 100%. I'm going with experience over the young guys all day, every day. I feel like that Duke's team is really, really young. LJ Cryer, he's already got a national championship under his belt. He's already been through games like this. He knows what it takes to step up and win games. He's done it at Baylor. So I think he's going to come to Houston and he's going to step up and play some really big minutes. Then we're going to head over to the Auburn and Florida game. I think a lot of guys aren't talking about this Johnny Broom guy. One of my best friends, he told me about Johnny Broom a couple months ago, and this guy, he's that. He's legit. Shout out to Walter Clayton, but I think this Auburn team is just going to be too much for Florida. I think this team's too big. They're too experienced. They've been playing together. They've been playing together all season, and the way that they just move off the basketball and the way they play defense, and this team's really, really dangerous. So I got Auburn winning, and I got Houston winning, all because of experience.
All right, we're some. I'm gonna piggyback off you in the first game with Duke and Houston. I'm going with Houston. All right, maybe because I got a little money on Houston. Maybe. But overall, man, I think that in order to beat a team like Duke, right, that can score at will, right, a team that has Cooper Flag, who is clearly a #1 prospect going into the draft next year, is to have size and be able to play pretty good defense. U of H got both. U of H got the best defense in the country, right? And I think that that can slow down Duke because Duke has not seen to me a good defensive team like U of H. I think U of H will be able to slow them down from scoring. Jerry, I don't know why you're making that face like it's just it like Duke is just the best team you ever seen. I don't think you believe that, but I do believe that U of H can get it done. And I'm also going with a coaching matchup. I've been critical over the past couple of years of Kelvin Sampson, head coach for U of H, right? But in this game right here, who do you trust more? Kelvin Sampson. What's my boy name? John. What's his name? John. Is it John Cryer? Head coach for Duke.
I want to say it starts with S. What's his last name?
I know I didn't make that name up on top of my head.
I feel bad for not knowing his name, but he's
I
Duke
know
head
I
coach. What do I care about knowing his name for?
I know I didn't just make that name off the top of my head. Yeah. John
John
Shire.
Shire.
John
John
Shire.
Shire.
That's what it
Yeah,
is. John
John
Shire.
Shire.
Kelvin Sampson and John Shire. I'm gonna go with experience. Kelvin Sampson's been coaching for a long time, right? But like I said, I've been critical because even going into this tournament, I said U of H, man, they gonna do what they always do, right? They gonna get to about the Sweet 16, maybe, right, and they gonna end up losing because they've been doing that the past couple of years, and they've been like a high ranked seed the past couple of years. But this year they broke through the ice. I'm going with the coaching matchup, and I think that Houston can slow down this dude offense. Going over to Auburn and Florida. Hey, real, who told you? Who told you about Johnny Broom?
You.
Oh, okay. So that friend you was talking about with me, right? Okay, this makes sure. This making
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Jared, I remember sitting with you watching the Maui tournament. Right, it's like 2 a.m. because the game, the timing is off. Right, we watching the Maui tournament. And I told you, dude, who is this Joel Embiid looking dude on his basketball court? Right, and Johnny Brown, he is special. Brand, we saw him last week get hurt, and I was worried. I was worried, right? He got hurt, but then he came back in the game, hit a big three. And I think that this time off he would have, if he was able to, you even said it could have been adrenaline, right? But if he was able to get back in the game and be effective, I think that having these couple days off is going to be able to have him at 100% health going into this game. And then you also have your boy Tahad Pettiford. I'm surprised you're going against Tahad. That's your boy. I've been hearing about him all year. And you even told me he's the best player on the team. I think he's second best. You say he's the best player on the team. So I got Tahad and I got Johnny Broom. I'm going with Auburn. And one thing about Walter Clayton, he's nice. Don't get it twisted. Right. But when I watched a video of them making that comeback and how he basically brought them back by himself, it looks like I don't pay attention to Florida that much. It looks like that's all they got, and I get it. Some special players is all you need. But during that game, he was like Curry out there. Like he would get the ball, then smother him. He'll pass the ball. He'll run circles, try to get the ball again. If that's all you have, this Auburn team is too much. Like they have too much. They have two legit scores, two legit, really really good college players, and then Chad Baker Mazzara, who has been off lately. We know he can get
Oh,
it going. He's been off. He's been off, but he can get it going, especially as a third option. So I'm gonna go with Auburn, and then I'm gonna go with U of H. So Jared, you got Florida and Duke. Who do you have winning the championship?
I got Florida. I do. I have Florida. I think this is gonna be one of them. Like you just, I think Walter Clayton's going to take over. Now Walter Clayton is a smaller guard, mind you. Like I said with LJ Crowder, but I think his shooting ability, like I'm seeing him shoot over people, like almost like you said, almost Curry like he's shooting over people. But don't get it twisted. They do have some other players. He had 30 against Texas Tech. Thomas Howell had 20 points, and he hit two big threes down the stretch to aid their comeback. So don't get it twisted thinking that it's just the Walter Clay show. Give him the ball. No, they have other people on this team that can make things shake. But like you said, when you do have that guy, things can happen. And I think that what y'all said about experience and what y'all said about this Duke team being very young, I think that'll be a national championship problem. I do. And now I'm not gonna lie to you. Like seeing Duke play, I'm not as confident in this Florida pick. I'm honestly not. Like, and it pains me to say because I hate Duke. I don't like Duke. I was born hating Duke. Like that's what we grew up on. We do not like Duke at all. So to be giving Duke this much credit, it kind of is like it's irking me. It's making me mad a little bit. But I got Florida gonna win a good one because I think that the Florida's key to success, keep the game close. And when you keep the game close, I think Walter Clayton Jr. will show, like he did against Texas Tech, why I think he is the best player in crunch time in this tournament. Like whenever Duke played Arizona, it was a close game. And down the stretch, Arizona just couldn't make we saw Caleb Love try to aid them and will them back, but it was just Duke was too much. And there was a point in time where I saw them take the ball away from Caleb Love at times. Caleb Love was very hot, and we're not just giving him the ball every single possession, seeing what he can do with it. But Florida will give the ball to Walter Clayton Jr. They will live and die off of his success in a tight, close game at the end. And I
Yes.
think that in a tight, close game at the end, he's going to pull through. So I have Florida winning this national championship. Like I said, since the beginning, before the tournament started, they're going to win it.
All right, real. You say you got U of H and Auburn. Who you got winning that one?
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Auburn to win the whole tournament. The reason why I said that is I don't know if you guys remember this was my March Madness pick all the way back
Well,
a couple weeks ago.
yep.
Yes, sir. Like I said back then, this is the most experienced team. This is the oldest team in the tournament ranking. And like Jay Best said, they have two really good scorers, and this team they've just been playing together all year. And Johnny Broom, I feel like he's gonna come out and he's gonna show who the best player in the nation right now is. And I just think in the national championship, I feel like Houston won't have enough for Auburn. I feel like that team just too well put together, and Houston's just gonna be too small. And I feel like that defense that they're playing right now that's working, it just won't be working against Auburn.
All right, so we got Florida, we got Auburn, and for me, it don't matter because I got money on both, so I really don't care. If Auburn win, I'm good. If U of H win, I'm good. All right, but nah, all jokes aside, I'm gonna go with Auburn too. Now, on that episode where Rail picked Auburn, I said I would pick Auburn too if it wasn't for the Godfather of college basketball. So I technically
Boy, did he even make the Sweet 16?
no, he didn't make it past to
Goodness
the round
gracious.
32. It's okay because guess what? His best player was terrible. The referees was bad that game. Okay, but that's a whole other conversation for another day. He'll be back next year. Don't worry about it. But yeah, Auburn, man, I back the Maui tournament once again. I said this team is winning it all. I've seen enough. I didn't even have to watch I didn't have to pay attention hard to college basketball for the rest of the year because I knew this Auburn team was gonna be here at the end. And credit to both of y'all because both of y'all champion picks are in the Final Four. Right, so credit to both of y'all for that. But this Auburn team, I saw it a long time ago. Then all of a sudden, I had this little St. John run, right? But this Auburn thing, since the Maui tournament, I knew they was probably the best team in college basketball, and they will show it after they beat Florida, and then after they beat, hopefully, prayerfully, U of H. But if it's Duke, they can handle them too. All right.
Yeah, guys. I don't know why y'all on this U of H train. I don't. Do we not forget that they just won off of a inbounds play? Are we gonna forget that to Purdue?
Coaching
To
matters.
Purdue? To
Coaching matters.
Purdue?
Coaching
To
matters.
Purdue? You were in a tight, close game at the end of Purdue. You think they're gonna be in that position against Duke? You think
Once
Duke's going to allow that to happen?
Once again, I don't think Duke has played. One thing about his U of H team for the past couple of years, they're aggressive, scrappy team. That's what they are. Now, like I
That's
said,
cool.
the success in March Madness has not been there.
That's
But
cute.
I think a team that is aggressive and that is very scrappy and plays hard can be a nightmare for a team that wants to score a lot. I think that is where they gonna butt heads, and I think that when they do butt heads, it's gonna come down to coaching, and that's why I'm saying I'm going to take Kelvin Sampson over John Shire. That's just me.
This is why I'm making this face, because it's like you're putting me in a position to kind of look like a Duke supporter and look like a Cooper Flag fan. Like, I like Cooper Flag's game. Of course, he's number one pick, but like, let's be real. Does U of H have a solution for Cooper Flag?
He go,
Let's be honest.
it's gonna be a team effort. You remember when
It's a team effort.
you
You
look,
can't.
look,
That's
look.
that's the thing about Duke. That's the thing about Duke. It can't be a team effort because they have shooters everywhere. You can't help off a Khan. He's going to shoot the lights out. You can't help off a Tyrese Proctor. He's going to shoot the lights out. Like, they have this one player, I want to say his name Sion James, somewhere around that. He's sitting in the corner. I swore I did not think he could shoot. Against Arizona, he had like 3 threes in the corner, just sitting there. All I've seen him do is just drive. He's a big guard. He drives, he puts his shoulder down, he gets to the rack. But this dude's hitting threes. So help off of, and mind you, that's one thing that's underrated about Cooper Flight, his playmaking ability. There's times where he's not selfish enough. There's times where I'm thinking in my mind, Cooper Flight, look who's on you. Go get a bucket. But he reads the second level of the defense so well. So help off it. Make it a team effort if you want to. You're done. And then if, mind you, JoJo Tugler, he came from South Falls, CFISD, alumni. Step over if you want to. He's throwing it up to the 7-foot tall guy. It's okay. It's too much to handle. It's okay.
And look, and Cooper might just get his. I'm not saying he won't. He can get his. Caleb Love got his and still lost. So just because you get a
He lost to who though? Who did he lose to?
lost to
He
Duke.
lost to Duke.
He lost to Duke.
Go look at the team numbers. Like, when this episode ends, real talk, I want y'all to go look at the team numbers from Duke. Look at their shooting percentages. Look at what each player is averaging. And I want y'all to really like sit back and think, can U of H beat this team? Like I don't think so. Like I thought Alabama might have had a chance. They had no chance whatsoever. Like let's be real here, guys. It's okay. I know, like you said, Tyrell.
Giving Alabama a chance, though. Wait. Giving Alabama a chance, but not Houston is crazy, especially with Clemens
Because
Sampson.
of how well Alabama could shoot the ball. But I see
What
that.
about how good Houston's defense is, though? What about how good their defense
What
is, and
about it?
how good their defense always is?
What about it?
Clemens Sampson, he always has that
Their
defense
defense
good.
is
That defense
always good,
always
and
good.
they've yet to get the job
Always.
done.
But they got there now.
They've yet to get the job done.
They are there now.
That's fine. You can be there.
Hey, you
That
there?
is
You might as well.
okay.
You there? You
You
might as
can
well keep
be
going, bro.
there. You
You
can.
might as well
Did
keep going.
if I'm not mistaken, whenever Baylor won the national championship, weren't they in the Final Four that year? I don't think this is their first Final Four appearance. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I don't think
Yeah,
it's their
it's
first.
not. It's definitely not. It's definitely not the final first.
They've
Definitely
gotten
not.
here before. This defense, this so-called defense, has gotten them here before. And I guarantee you, back then they did not play this Duke team. They didn't. This, like I said, this started. You're looking at nothing but NBA talent on the court when you look at Duke. Like that's the difference between Duke and these other teams. It really is. So I mean, hey, best of luck, U of H.
I
I'm
got to
sorry.
answer your question right here. 2021, U of H was definitely in the Final Four. It was U of H and Baylor beat U of H.
Baylor beat U of H.
Yep. It was Gonzaga, UCLA, Baylor, U of H, and then Baylor beat Gonzaga for the championship.
Tell you right now.
But since then, they've been losing earlier than they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what I said. The past couple years, they've been disappointing us.
Yep.
So they there now. They here now. Might as well go. And I don't want them to win it all. Just get there. Just get there for me. Like I said,
You're right, because you got money on it. But let's be real. If you had no money on it, I think I know who you'd be picking.
man, I don't like Duke. I will always go against Duke forever. I understand what you're saying, right? You don't like Duke either, but
We got to keep it real. On this podcast, we no matter what, no matter favoritism, no matter what, we keep it real. That's one thing. We keep it real.
That year that Duke had RJ, Zion, Cam Reddish, there was no reason to pick against them in any game in March Madness.
No reason whatsoever. You are so right.
But I did.
You are so right.
But I did.
That's fine. That's
And
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. And if you really look at this team, individual star power, yes, that team is better. If you look all across the board, this team's better than that Duke team.
I think this team is deeper than that Duke team.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That Duke
team, that's what Duke's problem was back then. The team was not deep enough.
I can only remember 4 players from that Duke team, if I'm being honest.
Them 3, and then
Tyus Jones.
Yep, Tyus Jones.
That's all I can remember.
Well, look, you're gonna be remembering all 5 of these guys because they will be in the league and they will be making impacts.
But they had Coach K. These guys don't.
They have the Coach K's protege, the guy that came up under the guy that played for Coach K, and he's now. Come on, dude.
You're right.
I understand. You hate talking. It's okay. It's your hate talking. Do you want to put some money on the game? Any takers? Do I have any takers?
I already got money.
Anybody want to put money on this Duke U of H game?
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
You can't duck the smoke.
That tells me all I need to know right there.
I already got money on it.
That tells me all I need to know. So double up your profit. You already, since you know U of H going to win, double up your profit. Think about it. What do you really have to lose? Because if they win, you're getting double money.
But they lose, I'm losing double money.
Which is okay. You got bet big to win big.
That's not no. I'm already betting big right now.
No. Just tell me all I need to hear right now. It's okay. I appreciate it. So if you stay tuned to the end of the episode, their true picks at heart was both Duke, but they just didn't want to say it on cam. It is okay.
That's not true at all. I believe U of H will win this game. I believe it with all my heart. But all right, y'all, we out of time, and that's it for today's episode of Straight to the Point Podcast. Once again, we are gonna do more jersey giveaways. All right, so make sure y'all locked in with TikTok, with the Instagram, with the Facebook, and you will see all the news, all the updates, all the giveaways that you need to see. And also check out Tyrell's stream on Twitch at Young Real Streams. All right, he be up there lit, so y'all get to go see the unfiltered Tyrell on Twitch. All right, y'all make sure y'all go check that out. It is hilarious. All right, but that's it from the Straight to the Point Podcast featuring your boy J Best, Jared, and Real. We out. Y'all stay blessed.